Hi guys!
Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video is all about the romance recommendations. Yesterday was Valentine's Day, so this video is probably a bit late, but anyway, it's love month. So I'm gonna give you your ultimate guide to romance recs. I am a romance reader, so I feel like I am somewhat qualified to provide you with these recommendations. So, let's get into it. My first recommendation is my Roman Empire, and that is the Magnolia Parks universe. So we've got Magnolia Parks, Daisy Hates, Magnolia Parks The Long Way Home, Daisy Hates The Great Undoing, and then Magnolia Parks Into the Dark. There is going to be 2 more Daisy Hates books in this series, but they haven't even started being written yet. However, this is one of my favourite series of all time. It's popular for a reason. It deserves all of the hype that it gets and more. These books basically, they give Gossip Girl vibes. Like, it's a friendship, it's all about a friendship group. So there's lots of separate romances going on, there's lots of drama going on. It does give that kind of Gossip Girl vibe, especially because the characters are a group of London socialites, so they come from money, they're very high fashion, you know? It's just, the writing of it is very lyrical, very poetic, very metaphorical. It is, like, I think about some of these characters, specifically Daisy and Christian, every day. I think about them every day. I love them so much. This will drive you mad, but you'll love it. It's very, very hard to explain, and you probably won't really understand until you read it, but yeah, you have to read the series. You simply have to. Beach Read and Funny Story by Emily Henry. I would recommend any book by Emily Henry, to be honest. She's one of my favourite contemporary romance authors. I love her and everything she writes, and I would read her shopping list. Beach Read is my favourite book of hers. This book has a lot of banter, basically the 2 main characters were college rivals, and they end up kind of in a situation where they're now in close proximity to each other again. They are both writers. They're both kind of stuck in a writing slump, if you will. And they, you know, kind of trying to help each other get out of that writing slump. But there's also, like, with any Emily Henry book, there's also, like, deeper topics. With this one, I would say grief is a very, like, prominent topic throughout this book, and I think it was written really, really well. The writing's just stunning. Emily Henry just can do no wrong in my eyes, and this is my favourite book of hers. The banter was just, like, wow, unmatched. And same with Funny Story, really. This book, we've basically got Daphne and Miles, and Daphne's fiance leaves her for his best friend, who was Miles's girlfriend, if that makes sense. So then Daphne ends up moving in with Miles because she's kind of like, shit, what do we do? So yeah, that's that. Again, really funny, a lot of deeper topics, really well written, just absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. This is her most recent release, and I loved it so much. 5 star, 5 star. The Knockemout series by Lucy Score, specifically Things We Never Got Over, which is book 1. This is a special edition of it. It doesn't actually look like this on the normal cover. But this is a grumpy sunshine, small town romance, and it's very funny and it's very spicy. And I absolutely love it. Like, this is a town that I wish I lived in. Like, I wish I lived in Knockemout. I wish I was in this friendship group. There are 3 books in this series, so it's Things We Never Got Over, Things We Leave Behind, Things We Never Got Over, Things We Hide from the Light, and then Things We Left Behind. Yeah, so 3 books. The first one is absolutely my favourite though. I just love it so much. I love it so much. It's such a fun, romantic, spicy time. Also, there's like a little bit of a like mystery suspense theme running through it as well, so there's that. It's brilliant. I love it. I'm not even going to get it off the shelf. I'm going to point right here, and that's the Chestnut Springs series by Elsie Silver. If you like small town romance, cowboy romance, then this is the series for you. Again, I think it's popular for a reason. I think the hype is valid. I think it deserves the hype that it gets and more. I love it so much. Each book follows a different one of the Eaton brothers, and also one book follows a friend of the Eaton brothers and one book follows a cousin of the Eaton brothers. So just each book follows a different guy in this group and their respective, you know, love stories. So obviously there's loads of different tropes and stuff, but they are just so much fun. So romantic, so spicy, so bingeable. Like if you're in a reading slump, definitely read these. It will get you out of it. It will get you out of your reading slump. Elsie Silver just knows how to write a cowboy romance. And I know how to read a cowboy romance because I eat them for breakfast, dinner and tea. So there's that. On the note of cowboy romance again, we have got the Silver Pine series by Paisley Hope. So the first book is Holding the Reins, the second book is Training the Heart, and the third book, which comes out on the 8th of May, is Riding the High. I have already read an arc of that and it was brilliant. This series is one of those, kind of like Chestnut Springs, where it's just so easy to fly through. They're so fun, they're so spicy, they're so cute. And you can just binge them in like 24 hours. Again, so perfect if you want to get out of a reading slump, if you just want to have a good time with a hot cowboy, you know, why not? Why not? Unreal, absolutely unreal. I read this before it was traditionally published. So I read Holding the Reins absolutely ages ago now. I think it was start of last year. And I'm so glad that it got traditionally published because I think Paisley Hope really deserves to have her work in the big shops like Waterstones and stuff, because it just really is. They're just like, they make me feel good. These books make me feel good. I just have a good time. I love them so much. The Things We Leave Unfinished by Rebecca Yarros, one of my favourite romance books of all time. I absolutely love this. So we've got our main character is Georgia, and Georgia's grandmother was an author. She was a romance author. She passes away. That's not a spoiler, it's literally on the back of the book. She passes away and Georgia kind of makes it her mission to finish a book that her grandmother was going to write, and that was her own love story. So her grandmother was going to write her own love story for like her final romance novel, but obviously passed away before she got the chance. So Georgia is now making it her mission to bring that to life. Enter Noah. He's like a best-selling romance author, obviously, so he's going to help her do this. So as Georgia and Noah are working together to bring this story to life, like to get this story written, they're obviously reading letters and stuff and finding out so many things about her grandmother's past and her actual love story. So there's like two love stories going on. You learn about her grandmother's love story in the past, and then you follow Georgia and Noah on their journey together. It's so beautiful and it's so emotional. And as always with Rebecca Yarros, massive plot twist as well, which I never really expect a plot twist in a romance book. Like I expect them in fantasy books, but never in romance books. So I feel like it just hits harder. Like it hits harder in a romance book because you're like, whoa. But this, I need to reread this soon, and I don't speak about this enough for how good it is. Like it's literally insane. It's literally insane. I love it so much, and I think everybody needs to read this like right now. Like literally pause this video, go and read it, and then come back. Do you know what I mean? Don't actually do that, but definitely read this at some point. Now guys, I'm actually going to recommend to you a romance book that isn't released yet. It comes out in April. I think it might be, I'll put the date on the screen here because I can't really remember. But I was lucky enough to get an arc of it through NetGalley, and that is Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. This is one of the best romance books I've ever read in my life. I was crying my eyes out, not even at sad parts, like literally just because I adored the characters so much. Like I loved them with my whole entire heart. Like straight away I loved the characters so much. And it was just, they felt like real people facing real life problems. Like it felt relatable, like the stuff that they were worried about and the stuff that they were kind of dealing with. And you know, the way they communicated and the way they dealt with things, like it just felt so real and so relatable. And like, I think for me, when a book feels like that, I just care about the characters so much more, and I care about, you know, them getting their happy ever after and stuff like that. So yeah, get it pre-ordered if you haven't already. Get it on your TBR for when it comes out in April, because it's an absolute must read. But on that note, I will say Abby Jimenez is a brilliant romance author. My favourite books of hers are Yours Truly and Just for the Summer, so highly recommend those as well. She's a very similar style to Emily Henry, I would say, really. They give me same vibes, not sure why, but they do. I'm gonna recommend to you a dark romance, and that is Still Beaten by Jennifer Hartman. So like I said, this is a dark romance, so please do look up trigger warnings if you are going to read this. This basically follows female main character Cora and her sister's fiance Dean, and they've kind of always bickered, like just bickered with each other, never really got on that much. And then one night something happens and they end up trapped in a very, very horrific, traumatic situation together, and they have to kind of try and rely on each other to escape and survive. It's very, very just traumatic, honestly. Really, really traumatic, really, really emotional. But it stayed with me for a long time. And and I think about it very often. And I flew through it because I just couldn't put it down because I was so invested in it. And I just think, you know, if you can read it, then you definitely should read it. It just feels like a must read, you know? And the writing is absolutely gorgeous as well, as you can see. I annotated quite a bit of it. I will recommend the Boys of Tommen series by Chloe Walsh. First book is Binding 13. This is contemporary romance, and it's marketed as YA, but again, there are some really horrible things that go on in this book, so I would check trigger warnings before you read it. You know, there's things like abuse and bullying and things like that, so, you know, go into it knowing what to expect, really. But it's such a beautiful story. Again, it just feels like a must read, and I know that it's so big, it's such a chunky book, and it can be really intimidating, but I genuinely flew through it. Like, it doesn't feel like 800 and odd pages or whatever. It's such a good story. It's such a good story. It's so emotional, it's so cute and lovely, and it's just everything kind of all at once. I won't tell you what it's about because I feel like I will spoil it, but it's very like character heavy. Like, in terms of like actual like plot and drama, there is a lot of stuff that goes on, but like it's just very character heavy, and it's beautiful, and I think you should read it. That's all the physical books that I'm going to recommend to you that I've got like in my hands right now, but I am going to just tell you some Kindle Unlimited recommendations that I think you should read. First one being Love Me Today by A.L. Jackson. This is like a single dad, grumpy sunshine, small town romance, but it also has kind of like a mafia vibe in it as well. So yeah, I absolutely loved this book. Like, when I first read it, I was absolutely hooked. I need to do a reread. I don't know if I'd still rate it 5 stars on the reread, but I absolutely loved it at the time when I read it, and I highly recommend it. Waking Olivia by Elizabeth O'Rourke. This is like a student teacher kind of trope, but not really, because it's not like that. Like, the teacher is very young, and he's her like running coach because she's a runner, and he kind of is quite a good support system for her because she's been through a lot and she doesn't really have that many people there for her, so, you know, they kind of grow close. It's really good. It's really, really good. From Air by Julianne is something that I have just read really recently, and I absolutely loved that as well. That is like a forced proximity roommates disliked, not even disliked lovers, but kind of like they kind of bicker a lot at first, and well, then it turns into like banter, and then it, you know, we evolve, and we've got like the male main character is typical like sworn off commitment because he's been through something bad in his past, and we kind of learn stuff about that, and like the invisible string theory and stuff like that. Like, it's just really, really good. So those are a couple of Kindle Unlimited recommendations that I wanted to just let you know about. I can do a full video of Kindle Unlimited recommendations if you want, because I'm always on Kindle Unlimited. I get my money's worth out of Kindle Unlimited, so I can do full Kindle Unlimited romance recommendations, not even just romance, just Kindle Unlimited recommendations video if you want. Let me know in the comments. But yeah, for now, those are some absolute must-read romances. Please let me know if you do read any of them based on this video. If you already have read any of them and you love them, just let me know. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Please do like, comment and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you next time.